This is a video I've been wanting to make for a long time. This is a bit more of a personal video, but I wanted to take you today to somewhere very special to me. A place that has everything you could want. Amazing beaches, old fishing towns, Disneyland, urban landscapes, one of the world's largest airports, pink dolphins, the Buddha, small towns, tall mountains, and giant spiders. The place I grew up, Lantau. Lantau Island is a large island in Hong Kong located west of Hong Kong and south of Tsin Mun. Its largest city is Tongcheng, and the island is home to around 200,000 people, but that number is expected to rise. The highest peak in Lantau is Lantau Peak at around 903 meters above sea level. The island is part of the Islands District, with the northern part being part of the Tsen Wan District due to it being more closely connected with that area. Lantau doesn't have an official flag, but I made this one a while ago, and I'd like it to be more well known within Lantau, so here it is. The white represents the sky and the clouds, the blue represents the ocean, and the green represents the greenery of Lantau. I should mention that originally the green was in the middle, but I thought the blue looked better when it was in the middle, so I put it there. Lantau is famous for its many tourist attractions, but that's for another section. First, let's talk about the history of Lantau. It is unknown when the first humans settled on Lantau Island, but it is known that there are stone circles in Shek Peak and Fan Lao, most likely from the Neolithic Age, both in South Lantau. In 1276, as the Song dynasty was taken over by the Mongols, Lantau became the last holdout for the Song dynasty, with the capital being at Silver Mine Bay, meaning Lantau was basically a country at this point. Emperor Xiaobing was crowned in Lantau when the Mongols tried to take the island. They failed, and the capital was moved to Tongcheng, which got its name from a local hero that stopped the Mongols. Eventually, however, the Song dynasty collapsed and Lantau was taken by the Mongols. Xiaobing actually had a pretty unfortunate death during the second invasion, and that's why the Song dynasty fell. If you want me to make a full video about the history of the Song dynasty and its end, I would definitely love doing that. In the 1510s, the Portuguese took the island as a trading post, only to lose it soon after. In 1607, a Dutch East India Company ship sailed past and mapped out the island, making this the first map of Lantau. Later, the British became interested in the island long before they were interested in Hong Kong. At this time, the towns were Tongcheng, Sekpik, Moiwo, Tayo, Poyo, and Tongfuk. The island was evacuated for about a decade under imperial orders before they returned. In the 16th century, salt was produced illegally on the island, and many islanders were killed when the emperor figured out. The notorious Chinese pirate Chang Po Tsai used Lantau as a base for mining silver in Silver Mine Bay in the 18th century. In 1898, Lantau and the rest of the new territories were handed over as part of a deal for Britain to acquire them for 99 years after there were concerns about Hong Kong Island and Kowloon not getting adequate water supply. Some things never change. Anyways, this now placed Lantau under British rule. During World War II, Lantau was a stronghold against the Japanese, and it was perfect for guerrilla forces. In 1945, as Japan's defeat came near, guerrilla forces made a move and liberated the town of Muiwo. Hong Kong returned to British rule in late 1945. So did the rest of Lantau. As regular ferry services were established between Hong Kong Island and Lantau, In the late 1960s, primarily to Silvermine Bay or Muiwo, the island became a popular getaway from the city. Muiwo was expanded and Tongcheng began to see growth. But the rest of the island was just small fishing villages. Taio as a good example of this, and the town hasn't really changed much since. Around this time, the Hong Kong Island Resorts Company developed a private residential place that was made to look and feel as Western as possible. This place was called Discovery Bay. In the 1990s, Chiklapkok Island in the north of Lantau was expanded significantly, and unfortunately, due to this, the 200 people that lived on the island had to be moved. They moved to Tungchung and founded the town of New Chiklapkok. Anyways, in 1998, the new airport opened on the island, and with that, a huge expansion of Tongcheng followed due to its proximity to the airport. Today, the city houses most of Lantau's population and is home to primarily people that work on the airlines or at the airport. In 2005, Hong Kong Disneyland opened and boosted tourism in Lantau, and that big Buddha statue made the island one of the top tourist destinations. In 2000, a fiber optic link was made to Lantau as part of a project to build a link around the world. Then, in 2008, the best thing in the world happened when I was born. In 2013, the Save Lantau Alliance was created, opposing development of the island. In 2018, Lantau was brought to the headlines when Prime Minister Carrie Lam proposed reclaiming land in Lantau and even developing the island to hold up to 1 million people. This drew widespread criticism, and so far, nothing has actually happened regarding that plan. Lantau is home to many tourist attractions, including the Big Buddha, a statue made in Nongping. The town is basically half tourist trap, half authentic Buddhist monastery, but the rest of the town is made to be a manufactured experience and is not an actual town. Its only residents are Instagram influencers and monks. There is also a really cool cable car that takes you to Tongcheng called the Nongping 360. Taio is a fishing village located in the northwest of Lantau Island, which is more than 3 centuries old. Tourists visit Taio for its several hundred pang-uk houses, though some of them have been repaired after a fire in July 2000, and others from damage caused by super typhoons related to storm surges in subsequent years. Taio is currently proposed to be redeveloped, however, nothing has come of that as well, and the town remains its fishing village charm. Hong Kong Disneyland is one of the most popular tourist attractions in Hong Kong and attracts tourists from all around the world. It has 3 hotels, a cool lake, many sections with cool rides, and a new frozen land. However, lots of that land was used for quarantine camps, and it's currently being redeveloped too. Cheung is where I grew up. It hosts Upper Cheung Beach, which is one of the largest beaches in Hong Kong. But I prefer Lower Cheung Beach, a place that I mostly went to as a kid. This is where I come in. We started out our journey by taking the MV Xinguang to Muiwo. Once there, I was shocked to see the bus area and much of the ferry pier area being torn down and redeveloped. I was so sad and remembered the area before this and all the nostalgia. Thankfully for me, the rest of the town was basically the same as the day I left. I saw the first home I ever lived in, walked down a street with many memories, and saw the store that I used to go to. Then, I ate from a bakery with the best pineapple buns in Hong Kong, and saw this abandoned school. After doing some research, I found a Reddit post saying it closed in 2007 due to low attendance numbers. It's been there as long as I can remember and was set to be destroyed several times, but it's still there. Then, after seeing the proposed plans for Muiwo, which I hated, we walked to the lower area of Muiwo and to a park that I used to visit, as well as a tiny mall, a municipal services building, several Western houses, and the kindergarten I went to, which is still a kindergarten. Then, we took a bus from Muiwo to Cheungsha, and, on the way, saw Puyo. Puyo is a town I went to a lot and have a lot of memories in. We saw Sun Shek Wan, and When we got off at Changsha, we saw my old house that I grew up most of my life in. We also met some people I used to know and walked around the neighborhood. After that, we walked to Changsha Beach, recreating a photo I took on my last day there, and ate at a restaurant I used to eat in a lot. Now, let's look at the rocks that separate the two beaches. Take it away, old me.
This rock right here, this is where the sand used to be up to. And in this cave I'd go here a lot, so it's cool to see this again. But, might as well, let me put down my backpack here, show you guys the inside of this, so... Ugh. I remember this gap being smaller, but that's because I was... Whoa. Here's the middle here. This used to be closed before a hurricane blasted it open. This was a little seat people would sit on down here. Up here is a really cool looking tree. It's got vines all over it. Ugh. Yeah, this is nice. Once again, I used to barely be able to touch this branch. Now I can touch it without jumping. This over here, this little ledge, I'd sit on here a lot and look at the sunset in the waves, but then hurricane came and a tree fell on it, and now it does not look like there is a tree on it, so let's get up here, grab on, and never mind, I cannot grab onto this. That is going to be me if I'm not careful. And here's another branch. Are any of these branches tied down? Or like planted? No. Well, okay, this one. That one is. Alright, let's see if we can get up here. Wow, the memories. Oh. Never thought I'd be back here. And yeah, sit here, watch the sunset. Alright, I don't know how to get down here, so I will revert to my instincts, and I will jump. Yeah, it's a lot less scary when you're a lot bigger than you used to be. Okay, down here. Let's continue on. To this area. This I used to call face rock because it has like a mouth and eyes and yep, and trash at the bottom of the canyon here. I used to, when I was little, I thought this canyon went down into the darkness, but now I can stand on the bottom and barely bonk my head on the roof. And this little area which leads out, I used to be able to swing, but now I'm holding a camera, so out here, over here, and that is the tour of the Lantau beach rocks.
Then, we took a bus to the Buddha, passing by Tongfuk and Shui Hao. I will try to mention every town in Lantau because there aren't that many, but I did not go to all of them. I should mention on the way we passed by these two areas, which are housing developments for Westerners. They're very nice and both have pools. Lots of private developments have pools, actually. Anyways, we passed by the dam, which is the largest body of water in Lantau, and the prison housing political prisoners. We then got to the large statue. This was constructed in 1993 and was used by monks from around the world. Next, we visited the Polin Monastery, which was constructed in 1906 and is the oldest monastery in Hong Kong. After we went to the manufactured town and got Starbucks, we made our way to Tai O. Tai O, as previously mentioned, is a small town that is mostly a fishing village and is now a popular tourist attraction. I have talked about it enough. After that, we got to the bus and went back to Hong Kong Island, ending the day. Later, we visited Tongcheng, a city I have very fond memories of. First, we hiked to the tallest mountain in Lantau, and, after wanting to die, had food and explored the City Gate Mall, a mall that I used to go to a lot and is one of two malls in Chongqing. We explored this area before heading outside. Then, we went out to this big circle thing with a lot of shops in the middle. Still don't really understand what this is, but it's just a nice park area, I guess, with shops alongside it. Anyways, crossing the street, we headed to a playground I used to use, but it's changed quite a bit. There used to be a big rocket in the middle, but I assume too many kids fell off it, so they decided to just all remove it and replace it with this big rope thing, which is kinda cool. Then, we visited the Municipal Services building and saw a playground I used to go to. Then, later, we went to the mall adjacent to Citygate, which is basically Citygate but has more local Chinese things. In that mall, we got pineapple buns and made our way home. I should also mention the villages between Tongcheng and Taiyou. These are small villages that aren't too welcoming to visitors. Other towns include Pakmong, which used to be a coastal fishing town but after development lost access to the sea, so they made a bridge connecting them with the ocean. There's Sea Ranch, a development that had been derelict and abandoned for a long time. Now, I want to explore it. It looks like if Discovery Bay had a bomb hit it, but that's only the shops and restaurants. People still live in the other areas. Most of these small towns are only accessible via kaito. These are small ferries that mainly service small towns. Lantau is also home to many animals. There's the golden orb weaver, which are terrifying, water buffaloes, which have become a staple of the island, cows, which roam the beaches, and a staple of Taiyou, the Chinese white dolphin. An amazing animal that has become very famous, however, is facing extinction due to being hit by boats and the construction of the useless Hong Kong-Macau Bridge. Here is a website that has info on how to help them, but only 37 dolphins are left. Sad but true. Please check out the website and sign the petition for a safe zone to be made around Taiyou for them. In my opinion, today's Lantau is better than tomorrow's Lantau, and while the new Tongcheng area can't be stopped, the rest of it can, and we should try to save what we can of beautiful Lantau. Though I will admit, a lot of the new Tongcheng development doesn't look half bad, and I am curious to see what they do with it, although I do like the older areas of Tongcheng much more. I think this is best described in the words of the author of the website South Lantau Life. We live in a beautiful land, and we'd like to keep it that way. Anyways, that was my video on Lantau. I hope you enjoyed taking a trip down, well, my memory lane, and experiencing places I used to visit all the time. I definitely hope that one day you get the chance to visit Lantau, and that it can stay beautiful forever. So, what will happen with the new Lantau development? Why are there so many prisons in Lantau? And how long will it be until the water buffaloes take control? That's a very good question.